Hi everyone, welcome back. In this lesson we're going to be covering information gathering. So information gathering is the first step of ethical hacking. Generally there are 5 steps and we're going to cover all 5 throughout this course. So information gathering is really just trying to find out what information you can find on the company or person that you are trying to exploit. So some of the common tools we might use to do that in this course are going to be Google, Exploit Database or the Google Hacking Database, Whois, Netcraft, and the Harvester. So these tools I've picked out exclusively because they are covered in the course syllabus. There are many tools, a lot of which are covered in other courses. I would direct you towards the ethical hacking course if you're interested in learning some of these tools. The real matter of fact is, for this course, you're really not going to need much outside of Google. I'm just going to show you some of these other tools because they were mentioned. But really, Google is going to be your best friend. Exploit Database is going to be your second best friend. So I'll show you some of those and we'll kind of navigate around and learn a little bit of Google Foo in this lesson. But don't expect it to be too long and don't expect to learn too much out of this. Just really want to touch base on what some of these things are. So let's go ahead and go into our Kali box. And let's go into Google. So when we say Google Foo, what we mean is using Google to our advantage. Google has a lot of search syntax. So we can use Google as, let's say we're looking up a website. Let's look up CNN. We could see that we have CNN here. We've found some more information about CNN on Twitter, YouTube, New York Times. But let's say that we just want information from CNN and only CNN. We can use a syntax for that. So we can say cite CNN.com. And notice now, right now, that we have 210 million results. So now we've narrowed it down to about 3.2 million results. And all of our websites now are coming from CNN. So let's say that we're searching a site and we don't want to see www.cnn like this /weather. We're just more interested in if we can find any type of links like this, say travel.cnn.com. So maybe we can find an ftp.cnn.com or something that might be vulnerable or provide information to us. So we can say we don't want the site of www.cnn.com. Let's see what that does to our results. So it doesn't change the search results any, it appears, but you can see that it has taken out any of the wwws. So there's been change here. I don't know why the results are showing the same, but so you can see now that there's a travel, a store, edition, Arabic.cnn. So lots of information can be found here. We can continue on and we can say we want to look at a specific file type. So maybe we're looking for PDF files that CNN is hosting on some of their web pages. So now it's narrowed it down to about 544 results. It looks like CNN posted a budget of the United States government. Interesting. So a lot of different PDFs here that we could look through. So if we're trying to find information about somebody or about a website, this is exactly what we would need to do. We'd come in here and we just continue narrowing down our results until we find something of interest. Obviously, we're not likely going to find anything for CNN. This is just for example purposes. But this is a good example. So we can also go into our search settings and we can do advanced search here. And a lot of this you can fill out inside of advanced search as well. So these are things that you might want to look at. So you can look at specific sites or domains, searching with words, and Google will kind of help fill this out for you. You can see there's file types in here as well. So if you're unsure of the syntax, you're more than welcome to try Google's advanced search where it'll fill it out. You can also use Google to your advantage to Google search syntax and see if you can find anything in here. So here's a site showing some tricks. You have Google shows you how to refine web searches in here. So I encourage you and recommend that you come through here and look at some of these and just kind of practice on your own. Take a company, or if you take your employer if you want, and just try to look at their website, try to see if you could find anything interesting, any interesting documents, maybe that should be on the web. I know when I ran through this, I looked at one of my old employers and I found a contract that probably shouldn't be out there on the web. So just some things to look out for. So going on top of this, let's go back to Google and let's look at the Google hacking database. So the Google hacking database is now part of exploit database. But if we come in here, this is a really, really interesting website. You can kind of look through here and look at some of the Google foo that people have already done for you. So for example, we can look at files containing passwords. And you can kind of look through some of these and see if there's anything that stands out. Enable secret here, Cisco. So on Cisco devices, if you have enable secret or enable password, this might be in clear text, which is kind of exactly what this is saying. So if we click on the Google search, it'll do it for you here. So it looks like it's taking out the string of get, the string of cisco.com, and it's looking for an extension of .config, which is a config file for Cisco. And what we're looking at here is for enable password in clear text, and it looks like right here we've already found one. So these are the kind of vulnerabilities that are out there. If you go through this database, you could play around and find some really, really interesting stuff. Of course, we're ethical, so we're not going to use this against anyone, but it's good to know it's out there, maybe inform people that it's out there. So another site like this that I like to play around on, it's called Shodan. So let's go to Google and type in Shodan here. And I just like to click on Explore. You don't really have to have an account if you don't want to. A lot of people come on here to look for webcams. You can see there's cams, netcam, some default passwords. It's very, very similar. For example, we can click on webcams, and what a lot of these are webcams that have not been secured, I should say. So you can click on them, and a lot of times you're going to get right to the home page. A lot of times these passwords are going to be admin or whatever the default password is. Sometimes these splash screens don't even have anything. If you click on a few of them, you might be able to find one. There's another one that has a username and password, but the more you click through here, the more you'll find just cammed right in the open. You can see storefronts, sometimes people's houses. I mean, it's amazing what you can find. Some of these cameras you can move around. So these are the type of vulnerabilities that are out there, and businesses are just wide open. And that's what you're really going to find when you navigate through this course, is that while you are going to learn a lot about exploits and vulnerabilities and even how to patch them, that a lot of people don't take the same precautions. So really go through these hacking databases and just familiarize yourself with how insecure, unsecure the world really is, and the need for people like us. So going off of that, there's one more website I want to show you. And let's look at Netcraft. So this is a website recommended by Offensive Security. If you go on Netcraft here, you can look around. You can search. You could search different sites. So it's something else to play around with. You can try to look up CNN again. So if you put the star in before CNN, you're going to pull the wildcards. So kind of what we were looking for earlier in our Google search. We can see there's addition, money. Some of these we've already seen before. So travel, very, very similar. So you can kind of come through here and look at more information. I never use this throughout the course. It is there for you to use. I don't really prefer it because I think you can find a lot of everything on Google, especially if you look hard enough. So just another website to show you that it's out there. So the next thing we're going to cover now will be Whois. So if we go ahead and do an Alt Tab, at least for me, go ahead and open your terminal. If we type in Whois, and let's say CNN.com, we can find domain information out about the website. So here we go, domain name CNN, shows who it's registered to, the date it was registered, when it expires, etc., etc. You can see some of the domain name servers. You're not going to find a lot of really good, interesting information here usually, especially from websites as big as CNN. What you're really looking for is if you're doing a penetration test and you're looking at a local company site or maybe a medium-sized company site, sometimes they put their own personal information in here, and that is it's incorrect. Usually you want to go through a private company that protects your information, so you don't want people knowing really who owns the website or who's behind the website. So it's just another level of security because this can lead to social engineering. So just another protected measure, something to look at when you're looking at a website. You're not going to use Whois at all in this course, I don't think. I never used it. I don't see a reason why you would have to. But it's good to know that it's out there. It's always interesting to go play around with it. I do recommend, like I said with Google, is going to your employer's website and seeing how they have their Whois set up. Just play around with all these tools and see if you can find anything interesting. Again, not for malicious intent, but just to increase your knowledge, to play around, to get better at the tools. Okay, and then your last tool we're going to try out here is called the Harvester. So if we just type in the Harvester and hit enter, you can find out a little bit of information about it. Really what we're doing is we're harvesting email accounts from a domain. So if we look here, you have your switch of D for domain or company. And then generally we have a switch of B for your data source. So you can pick Google, you could pick Bing, LinkedIn, etc., etc. So for example, let's say we want to use the Harvester to look up CNN again. And we're going to use our data source of Google. Let's just see if it pulls anything or what it pulls here. So it's going to search through Google and see if we can find any type of email addresses. It wasn't able to find any. So maybe Google wasn't the best here. We can try LinkedIn. See if that pulls anything. And it's not showing anything there either. So it might be that CNN has some lockdown here. I've successfully used the Harvester plenty of times and found many emails. So you're more than welcome to go through here and keep trying on different websites. Once again, I recommend using your employer, seeing if you can find anything. So now we just switched over to Bing here and we were able to find a user's email address. So this again plays into social engineering, just part of information gathering. The more information we gather about a company, the better we can attack it. So this is just another tool in the tool set. Like I said, if you want to learn other tools, I do recommend looking into the Certified Ethical Hacker. There is a course on INE, so I'd recommend looking there first. Many tools can be found and be added to your toolkit for penetration testing, but in this course you're really not going to need any of this stuff. So Google will be your best friend, Exploit Database will be your second best friend, just to reiterate. So that is it for this lesson. I thank you for joining me. My name is Heath Adams, and I will see you next time.